there's a New York Times article about how black children don't want to read about Harriet Tubman all the time. And it's an opinion piece, but it's really insightful. And it talks about how, even with this diversity push, you know, the books that have African American characters, you know, more than half of the books, or I don't remember the exact stat, it's all about being the first and overcoming. And while the author says, these books and topics are important, it's just, it's just too much. And I totally agree, because as someone who's half Japanese American, if you look at the Japanese American characters in children's books, it is mostly about World War II internment camp. And there are very few Japanese American characters that are not in internment camp. I mean, I think the only two I can literally think of is Suki's Kimono, which is a picture book about Oban dance, and Debbie Michiko Florence's really wonderful Jasmine Taguchi series. But this picture book is another slavery book. But I thought it was really interesting, so I just wanted to give it a little shout out. And just because I think it's a different spin. So, sort of spoiler alert, this is slavery. But what I thought was so interesting was how the blacksmith, who is a slave and has a family, used the blacksmith hammer against anvil, that pounding noise, as a signal to Underground Railroad participants about safety. And so it's sort of this narrative about the dad who is too sick, but the signal needs to be made. And so the young son knows that, it's sort of up to him to do it. And it's really signaling whether it's safe and what the people hiding out need to do. And, just like kind of such a, resourceful way of communicating. But what is also so interesting about this book is that it totally leaves you with a complete cliffhanger. So here we have the boy beating at the signal, and I'm not exactly sure what the signal is. Like, it's safe to go, but there's danger, or or you need to go now. That kind of, I think, is the message. And actually, this time, the signal is also for the blacksmith and his family. They have to make their escape. But we know that the father is very, very ill. And seems like a bad time to actually have to go on a treacherous journey. And yet, that is when it's time to go. And anyway, this is the end. The anvil is silent, and I'm not actually sure if the dad is also going on this journey or he's staying behind. I mean, it's really sort of a cliffhanger, which is a little bit, an unusual ending for a picture book, but it definitely leaves you riveted for more. It's not what you expect at all. So anyway, this is sort of a unsung hero picture book that I want to give a shout out to. Here are the authors and illustrators, and hope you get a chance to read it and enjoy it too.